Hi, Sarah.
We are with another Saturday Night Live, June 27, 2020. Hello, everybody.
How you doing?
Hello.
We're doing.
Doing?
How's everyone?
Well,
Good. The kids and I went to a blueberry farm today and picked like 10 pounds of blueberries.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
It's a lot of blueberries.
Yeah, we didn't even get as much as we did last year. Last year, I probably picked like, I don't even know, 15 pounds.
Nice.
So we took it easy this year.
It's a lot until you finish eating them.
I mean, you can always freeze them, right?
Oh, yeah, we do. But my daughter in particular eats them like candy. And she loves them frozen. So, yeah, that's like her favorite dessert is a bowl of frozen blueberries.
Yeah, they're easy to grow. If you have a backyard.
I actually do have a little tiny blueberry plant in my backyard.
get it out of the pot.
Yeah, I know. I need to get out of. It's in a half wine barrel right now. So I realize that while it produces, it hasn't gotten any bigger the last like 2 years.
Pot valve.
So Steve suggested to get it out of the wine barrel.
A lot of wild blueberries up north, up here, and they grow in everywhere. They grow on rocks and everything.
Yeah, if you buy
Oh my gosh.
it's too expensive, the wild ones.
Powerful plants,
Like,
yeah.
a little bit,
You never had blueberries till you had the ones out of Maine, the wild ones out of Maine.
The wild ones,
The wild ones from Maine. Those
Yeah.
are
Oh,
absolute
from
best.
Maine?
Yeah, they're small.
tiny.
Yeah,
Not big, they're
like
small.
we get them here too.
Yeah, we have them here all over.
Yeah.
Bears pig out on those things, man.
Yeah.
I've never seen them in wild. Have you seen them?
They grow anywhere.
Farmers markets, but they're so expensive. Like for a handful, you pay like $7, you know. Expensive.
Yeah, more than that now,
Crazy.
probably.
Given that it grows by itself in the wild.
They grow in Alaska, everywhere in Alaska.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's
There's places.
It's easy to plant them here.
it's work to pick them. It's all
lot of
labor
work.
intensive in the wild. So they
But
charge.
even here, right? Even here, if you want to pick the small ones,
The wild ones.
even if you grow them yourself, yeah, the wild blueberries, they're so small.
Yeah, that's why they charge.
Yeah.
It's very intensive picking them up, and it depends on how hungry the guy is, how many he's going to pick to store, and how many he's going to eat, or the girl. But yeah, the wild berries are awesome. Wild strawberries, I remember in Italy in the mountains.
Oh.
Little tiny strawberries,
Mm.
very sweet, beautiful. So you know, in the stores you get those big, humongous things with absolutely no flavor.
Yeah, they're full of water.
Yeah. Big difference. But it's interesting, like hybridizing of the fruit was made to make it sweeter, but like the berry stuff, they're better in the wild.
They cannot get it right. You know?
Yeah.
It weakens the genetics.
Yeah, of course. Weaken the genetics, and they're just making it for size, right? So they can get more dollar for the pound. Everything's about yield. It's all about yield farming. Nothing more. I was working with farmers for all those years, you know, going to farm shows and stuff. You know, you got very small percentage of farmers who actually care about what they're growing. Very small. It was interesting to
I think
be exposed to all that. Most of them have no clue about how dangerous all those chemicals they're using are. Go to a farm show and you'll see a lot of unhealthy people in one building. It's very interesting. being exposed to those chemicals, wearing hazmat suits to spray the stuff, and then we have to eat this stuff. It's just ludicrous. There's no common sense in anything people are doing anymore. Sad. You know, there's no reason to put any chemicals on any of the food supply. How did all the plants survive this planet since the beginning of time without chemicals?
Because man wasn't here.
Exactly. But
That's the truth.
yeah, well, you know, now they, oh, you need this and you need that and you need this. What do you mean? Well, how did they survive all these years? You know, you go to some of these tropical islands and you look near the shores of the ocean, you got beautiful, lush growth of everything. The rainforest and stuff. And it's just amazing. But everything's being affected by everything man's doing on this planet. There's no place on this planet that's not been affected. Absolutely no place. Every absolute square inch or square centimeter, whatever system you want to use,
It's energy, isn't it?
is
Plastic is everywhere.
yeah, in the air, in the water tables, in the soils. Yeah, we've done a really good job. So
In the tissues of all living creatures.
yeah, there probably is not anything alive on this planet that does not have traces of man-made chemicals.
Shows you the power of the body to be able to survive it.
Yeah, like we look at some people, the way they live their lives, and in the state of health they put themselves in, like very obese and all that, and you have to wonder, some of these people live many decades, and you have to think, man, oh man, the body is still able to survive punishing it every day for decades on end. Survive. I'm not saying anything about thriving, but survive. And
Some people have good genes.
yeah, well, the genes will play a big part of it for sure.
They can abuse their bodies for so long and still survive.
Like it's just interesting when we see all this stuff happening. But one thing for sure is when you start detoxifying the body, true detoxification, your senses are going to wake up, and the messages will be very loud and clear. And the only way that we will continue to destroy ourselves is if we're in a state of mind where we can't figure why we want to continue to thrive versus destroying ourselves. And we see this time and time again. We all do it partially here and there. But it goes back to the environments. What environments are we in? And these environments are going to affect us if we allow it. So we have to be diligent and maintain our field strength and try to keep increasing it continuously, because if we let our guards down, those fields will affect us more and more, and it's easier to fall off the path.
Stay connected.
It's very
Well,
interesting.
it's like a weird paradox, because the more sensitive you get, you're aware of what's going on and how everything's going to hell. But
Right.
then on the other hand, it makes you stronger and makes you more optimistic and capable of
Empowers you.
tolerating it. So it's like a weird paradox,
Sometimes it's hard to stay optimistic.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, for sure. It's
It's-
very challenging. I mean, either way, it's challenging.
Very challenging.
But it's you feel much more empowered when you learn,
Oh, yeah.
to empower yourself. you do feel, you feel good. I mean, people can be also empowered definitely spiritually without the detoxification part, right?
Mhm.
But I am, it's all connected. When you are spiritual, you're going to get into fasting. I mean, it's in
Yeah,
every
without a doubt.
chain. And you're going to eat cleaner. You're going to eat lighter.
Yeah.
Like it's you're not going to be eating junk food. Yeah. So it's yeah, it's nice to be empowered for sure.
We're carrying the emotions of the world that we feel sometimes. We're carrying all the ancestral stuff, and we're the environments, and we're carrying all these emotions. And it's no wonder people are being affected and falling off and losing hope sometimes,
I mean,
etc.,
we all
etc.
are. Come on, we all are. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, like I said, this last 3 years, especially the last couple months, my mother's degenerating, degrading. Pretty.
Yeah.
It's not a fun to.
I had a tough week. My stepmother crossed over last night.
Oh, did she? Sorry to hear.
Yeah.
Condolences.
They don't. It usually doesn't affect me. So I'm definitely becoming more sensitive to things.
There you go, Steve. Remember a while ago you were saying that you were just stuck.
It fucked me up all week, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I ended up eating 5 days. I don't know last time I did that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm going through it now, and it's tough. It's tough. We have to just continue to inspire and support each other, and we're going to go through these. This is life. This is all part of the program.
Was she, in your life for a long time?
40 years?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a long time.
Did you grow up with her?
What was that?
Grow up. I mean, like with
Oh, no. I was, when they married, I was, 40, so I was 21 or 22, 21.
Let's elevate it.
Very, very kind soul. One of the most gentlest souls I've ever met.
Oh, that's so nice.
Oh, it was an absolute honor.
Amazing.
To know her.
Amazing. It's so nice to hear that.
Probably what makes it so tough,
Yeah.
I mean, it's bittersweet. Since my father went, she didn't want to be here. So
That's
about a year and a half since he's gone.
Yeah, same thing with my mom, right? As soon as my dad passed, completely gave up.
Yeah. Well, she didn't completely give up, but
almost.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah, your mom is not getting over it.
We were able to do
I mean, right now.
They're in Tennessee.
What?
They live in Tennessee. We were able to do a Zoom on Thursday, and when she spoke, she was coherent. So it was nice. It was nice. Really nice. So Zoom really good, powerful platform, this Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah. It works.
So on Thursday, you spoke to her, you say?
Yeah.
And what happened? Heart attack?
Well, yeah, she was very weak. She was getting weaker by the day. It was the heart.
Yeah. So you guys knew.
She was diabetic. She had some diabetes problems too. 87 also, not too bad.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. The old generations, they had that strong engine.
Yes.
Yeah. Like what's happening now, like a lot of children that have been born in the last anywhere from up to about 20-25 years ago, a lot of them will not outlive their parents.
No.
Maybe, yeah.
That's what's happened with genetically the weakness of of humans. You know,
Well, I think it's the whole planet. I think
yeah,
it's
it's the whole planet.
any living thing, whether it's plant, animal, because of what we've done, we're just.
Everything's affected. We that's why, you know, we're really focusing on the fields, because we can't fix anything
No.
with matter anymore. It doesn't work. Matter's the trap. We're here to experience this, and wonderful and fine, but we need to go to a higher order to solve this problem. And it's a simple fix. It really is a simple fix. We leave everything alone. That's how simple it is. Same thing we do in the fasting. Just leave things alone. We can assist and help just cleaning things, and you know, all these man-made things. Let's go dump them into a volcano, return them back to where we came from or something. I don't know if that would work. You know,
That's a good call.
yeah, like, you know,
Dump it in a volcano.
you know,
You got an excess of 450 of these freaking nuclear plants that they have no concept on, no knowledge at all. No technology exists to shut these things down and to mitigate the waste.
It's absolute insanity to build something you can't control and shut down.
Then they put them on the coast and let a freaking tidal wave hit them.
Yeah.
That is very possibly an extinction level event. It has that potential.
You know,
You called that.
That is
You
still
called-
spewing. They are
You called
dumping.
it extinction level?
That is very possibly an extinction.
Yeah.
Event. Absolutely.
But I was just wondering what term you were using. You're just saying
Look at
extinction
what it
level.
did to the Pacific.
Yeah, Fukushima.
It's dead. See, that whole ocean is dead. There's very little life left in it. There was an article the guy wrote, oh, what the hell did he call it? I think it's The Oceans Are Dying. Google it, it's fascinating. He made this trip 10 years apart. He sailed across the Pacific. And that maybe was in excess of 10 years. But from the first trip to the second trip, he said there's zero life. He saw nothing.
Yeah, well, leave it alone. Like in Chernobyl, there was that article about the some kind of fungus that was growing inside the.
Yeah, I saw that, and it's eating the.
It's going where the most radiation is, and
Yeah.
very interesting. So nature will always have
Find a
a
way.
solution.
Yes.
Not man. No freaking way.
Oh,
But one thing is in regards to the Pacific Ocean, I'm pretty sure that the numbers of whale migrations are increasing. Definitely on the California coast.
yeah, but there's more to that.
Well, I know there's
Because
the U.S.
the waters are
Navy,
warming, they're moving farther.
but I think the actual numbers are increasing. But I have to look it up.
I would tend not to believe that. I could be wrong.
I mean, like I know on the East Coast, like bird populations and
There's very little bird population. There's almost no insects here where I live.
insects.
Insects.
Yeah,
Birds, gone. They're gone.
but like I think that on the East Coast there are like more exotic birds than there have been in the last like 20 or 30 years. There's like a resurgence of like
Again,
particular.
it goes back to the changing climate because it's getting warmer.
Yeah, but you got to take what you can get. I mean, if the numbers are increasing, I mean, you know, it's like
Not if they don't belong in that area. That's not good.
I think like ospreys and like cormorants and all these weird birds that, you know, used to have higher numbers. Not that an osprey is weird, but like
Yeah.
peregrines, what are they? How do you say that? Peregrines, like attack birds, you know.
A peregrine falcon.
A peregrine, yeah. I mean, the class, anyway, like, yeah, like hunter birds. And then migratory birds are increasing on the East Coast. Apparently, there's like a really good bird refuge system that's like getting better on the East Coast. That's my understanding of it. So I tend to look for the positive.
Well, if you look at the whole planet in general, things are changing all the time. So where one area seems to be getting worse, another area is getting better. The Earth is always going to try and bring balance to itself, no matter how much we're bombarded, because that's the way it's designed.
Yeah.
Until we get to a point where it can't no longer sustain itself, and then we're in real trouble.
You know, overall, we do know that we are not in the right direction, and that's all that matters, right? So
we get start on ourselves.
so yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, um, we can do much better overall, humanity, and we all agree on that. I mean, we cannot deny the damage we are causing by consumerism, and I mean, the whole political system and economic system is crashing because of our irresponsibility, you know?
I think it's crashing because there's no resources left. We consume the resources of the planet. These last years that we're here are going to be. You're going to have wars over what's. Look at what we're doing here. We're in every freaking country where there's oil.
Yeah.
Iran, we're trying to get rid of. We're trying to change Iran, Venezuela for what? Because they got oil.
Iraq is destroyed.
So
Iraq is destroyed.
it's the lack. It's the lack of especially the ones that are easily recoverable. And when oil was discovered, or not discovered, when they started exploiting oil, it was 1 to 100. For every 100 barrels they took out, it cost them 1 barrel in energy to remove the 100. So you get 100 to 1 return on investment is what they call it. Now you're down to about 6 or 7, and there's no new discoveries. What did they just say today? There was 7.7% less oil discovered in 2019 than was consumed. So that big, it's going.
Yeah,
So these final times for man is going to be all over resources. And you can see geopolitically they're positioning themselves all over the planet.
Yeah, water.
They're accurate.
Water's a big one.
Water's going to be a war issue.
Absolutely. Especially with the glaciers melting away. Just think of the Himalayas and like 1.5 billion people count on the ice, the glacier melt out of the Himalayas. That's melting. Big time. Huge changes coming.
Yeah. Yeah. We're already feeling it in every way.
And that's why we got to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah. Focus on peace, balance, and contact.
Melinda.
Hey, what's that noise?
Yeah, we can.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm Melinda.
I'm really sorry to hear about your mom
Okay.
and Steve, you too.
Thanks.
It's not easy. Actually, my mother-in-law just came back from the hospital from having her bladder removed.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's going around, I guess.
What do they do in place of that?
So she had a tumor. She had a tumor in her bladder that went through the wall into her uterus. So they had to remove her bladder. She had chemo and radiation. It didn't do what they expected. So she had her bladder removed, a piece of her uterus removed, and then a piece of her colon to make like a belly button so that they could make a hole to have a bag on the outside. So now she has a bag.
So that's for good, or are they going to repair the colon after?
That's probably
Well, they told her she was going to be in the hospital for a week, and it ended up being closer to 2 weeks because her stomach wasn't restarting, and it took a little bit longer for her to heal than they had anticipated. But she just got back home yesterday to do the rest of her healing.
My goodness.
She's
Yeah.
not in the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, mentally she's doing very well, or it appears to be that she's doing very well, so that's good, at least. Yeah.
These are the waste elimination organs that are being, interrupted, the colon and the bladder. So when they remove the bladder, I don't know what's next. Dialysis? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very sad.
I'm super grateful that I've started this and I understand more, and it is a little bit frustrating because you do know that like she did it to herself, right? And that's kind of, sometimes it's hard to swallow.
We all do, yeah.
And and you can't say, well, it's your responsibility, it's your fault that you have this, because then you'll never be spoken to again, and that's not,
Exactly.
No, you don't need to.
yeah.
But
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's definitely even more eye-opening, watching my parents and my just, it's hard to see them go downhill.
very sad.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, but the encouraging part is that there are a few of us that do know better, so
How
so we
have
can
you been
slowly
doing?
start to change things. Yeah,
How have you been doing? How's the little guy or little girl? What was that? I can't remember.
exactly. Yeah. Well, I have 3 kids, and we constantly have conversations about making the right choices for food and getting out in nature, and having less and less screen time. So sorry, my phone is dying. I'm trying to. Okay, there we go. Yeah, and all I can do is I can hope that I make a big enough impact on them that when they become adults and they go off out into the world, that they they make better choices. So
That's great.
and just kind of live through example.
That's all we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as you try to lecture somebody or live by example by actually talking about it, it just never ever works. Even people who would consider themselves extremely health conscious, you can only go to a person's comfort level, and then it just fails miserably every time. You know?
They don't even see it when it's right in front of their face.
Yeah, it's just.
Especially when it's family and close friends.
Family, yeah. My wife doesn't. My wife is like, well, at least she's starting to make some changes, but
Yeah.
I've been doing this a year and a half now, and then the physical changes are incredible. I mean, it's right there. You can see it. So the blinders are on,
You know how I feel. 31 years is just.
Oh, God.
But way back then, it was, full of enthusiasm when you're, starting this path, and nobody wanted to listen. Nobody. And nothing's changed. You go on social media, blah, 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 rah, rah, rah. People lie to themselves all the time. All the time. It's this is our nature.
It can be hard when family members eat differently. It can be a little bit challenging. I can see that.
Life is full of challenges, and
yeah, but because when you are living together, I feel.
And it's got its own special challenges for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed for me, because we're a family of 5, and I'm mainly on my own, I guess, the leader of this of this lifestyle. And my husband listens to me. He's very supportive, but he's not interested too much in doing it. And so my kids are a little bit caught in the middle, you know? Some days they want to follow me and they're super excited about it. And then other times, you know, something will be brought home and, oh, that smells good and looks good and they want that. So it is definitely challenging. And it for sure, it slowed down my progress too. Like how quickly I feel I'm able to move towards cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. It's definitely slowed it down.
With children, the best thing is asking them questions. How do you feel after that meal? Or, you know, and so on. And then, because they're not stupid, they can connect with the feeling of how they felt with what they've eaten. And if you start teaching them that way, so they connect with what they eat and how they feel, maybe they're going to make better choices, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because all you have to say is it's all in your control. You know, pay attention how you feel after you eat, and blah 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 the next day and the next morning when you wake up, and just continuously just remind them in a nice way, and that's it. That's all we can do. Because like you said, you know, so many in all these years, so many people. One of the either the husband or the wife was, you know, into the cleaner lifestyle, and the other one no interest, and children. And
sometimes it's hard.
It's tough. It's tough. Very tough. But they're not. Children are smart. Much smarter than we give them credit for.
Yeah, this lifestyle is much easier, I feel, to start with someone. You know, like I think communication is very important when a husband and wife are like on a completely different lifestyle. It's hard to communicate, you know. It makes it harder, I feel. I don't know, or maybe there was a lack of communication and both of them separated this way, or I don't know. It's yeah, makes it only more challenging. Relationships are challenging, so
yes, they are.
so having completely different way of eating makes it a little bit harder. Yeah, at least, you know, if the beliefs are the same, it's a belief, right? With the beliefs, if they're the same, you can support each other even if the other person doesn't do it. But if the beliefs are completely different, we separate, I feel. You know, it's like any kind of belief, like religion as well and stuff like that as well. These are very deep, and they do make the relationship harder, I feel, if the beliefs are very different. The value, not maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right when you say that, because just thinking about the process that my husband went through when I told him that I was changing my diet and stuff, it took about a year and a half for him to just accept that I wasn't going to eat meat anymore, let alone how far I've come now. Now when I tell him, you know, oh, okay, I'm going to the next step, I'm doing this now, he's just like, okay, all right, whatever you need to make yourself feel better. But yeah, it was very challenging, lots of arguing. And then finally, like, he started to see, I mean, that was really what it was that he started to see that I was feeling better. I was in a better mood. I was able to cope with a lot more. And then he came around. But yeah, a year and a half just for meat.
Yeah, you know, it's you know, thinking about it now, it's a belief. It's almost like, you know, I believe in a certain practice and the other person doesn't. It makes it much harder for both, because the belief is very different. But let's say we agree on the belief, right? Not necessarily both are practicing, but we agree everything is okay. You can do whatever you want. I believe you're doing the right thing, and I don't want to do it, but you know, you are doing the right thing. So that this is very important, I think. Yeah, it's deep. It's very deep. Yeah, relationships.
Plus, you have to make up for it. You have to make up for it with other things that you know, like whether it's music or whatever it is, you just account for it to make the relationship work. You know, it doesn't have to be absolutely devastating that you're eating something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it shouldn't be, right?
Well,
Hopefully it doesn't go.
the eating is just a small part of it.
Yeah.
I'm not the same person I was 18 months ago. Absolutely not the same person.
Exactly.
Everything changes. Everything.
Yeah.
At every level.
Yeah, it's deep.
How could you be the same person?
Can't.
It's impossible.
Possible.
And the other person has
If
to
I was
understand
if we were
that.
the same, we'd still be doing the same dumb stuff.
And the other person has to understand that, right? That you are changing.
No.
And
That's not easy. That's very challenging. I've gone through this a couple times now in my life. When I quit drinking, that was the end of that marriage immediately.
yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very hard too, my goodness. Yeah.
You got divorced because your wife continued to drink?
Well, a little more than that, but yes, that's a big part of it.
It's hard.
Well, you can't. I mean, you're going, and then this is a challenge here too. I mean, because when one party, whether it doesn't matter who it is, either side is growing and the other one is not, that's hard. That's hard on that puts such a strain on the relationship.
Emotions.
That's what I'm finding.
It's tough for us because we're choosing to grow and expand, or whatever word
Right.
you use, evolve.
Correct.
And we know that because of our experience of what we're going through, we're wondering, why don't people want to move ahead or whatever? And it's tough to incorporate all. That's why for the longest I just said, you know what, I'm not dealing with this anymore. People, if they want to help, they'll come to me, and that's it, right? And it's basically the social media's. I'm here if you want to master fast, we'll help you. Otherwise, there's no reason for you to be here.
Sometimes I feel, when I did long master fasts, and I felt absolutely amazing, of course, compared to not doing it. And then I fall off. You feel so great, but everybody around you is eating the same way. They didn't change their lifestyle, like even, clients. And then I fall off. And then I remember, I really appreciate falling off so I can connect with them and I understand where they are. And of course, it feels much worse for me to fall off master fast than for them to live the lifestyle of, just eating the way they are eating.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder to fall off master fast because it hits you hard.
Get back on.
Yeah, the thing that I like, to focus on more is whatever information I've shared over all these years. I've seen a few people that, maybe not at the first time, but maybe later on, a year or 2, 5 years later, they incorporated some of the things from, this new understanding, lifestyle. And that's what we got to focus on. Okay, it didn't have some kind of impact for that person to make a change. It wasn't right away, whatever, but hey, this is the way it is. So if we focus on that, any little thing, it could be just a small little step. A person goes and get themselves a herbal tea or something first time, you know what I mean? Whatever, let's say, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I almost had my wife have her talked into going for a colonic. It's close.
Oh, okay. So
Close.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
My son, who's 9, has started asking for enemas.
Nice.
Which I don't know how many of you have paid attention or whatever, but that's like the whole reason I ended up finding Master Fast is because my son has started struggling with constipation when he was 8 months old.
Wow.
He was holding it at 8 months old.
Wow.
And so it's
emotion.
Yeah, he got sick and had one hard bowel movement and then got scared that they were all gonna hurt. So long story short, I've been on a mission to help him with that forever. And as I've become more comfortable, like they knew that I would be in the bathroom for, you know, a long time or whatever. But I've started to be more open of like explaining why I'm in there. Like, yeah, I'm just doing my enema. And he's gotten better about pooping, but I mean, it's still an issue. But he went through another period where he didn't go for several days. And so he, on his own, like asked me, like, will you give me an enema? And I was like, sure, why not? And so like, we haven't done them every day, but we've done, I don't know, like 5 or 6 in the last like week or so.
Oh, nice.
We missed a few days, but that's been kind of cool to watch him.
That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
That
excited
is
about it.
huge.
Well, I have a housemate, and my housemate must be wondering, like, what the hell is going on? You know, because like, it's like, you know, because it goes on for, you know, 45 minutes or whatever, and it's. So I think I have to actually like break the ice and like and bring it up, you know, and like he's a cool guy, so he's not going to care. It's like, but he must be wondering.
Yeah, you need to learn him. I would.
Yeah.
You don't want to?
Yeah, well, it took my wife a little bit of time to get used to the Kalima boy.
Well, it's like this. Look,
especially when the odor was a little strong.
Yeah.
it's like this whole thing. It's like, okay, it's like you find religion. So you say you live in a family where everybody I'm not Jewish, but say it's a Jewish family that are staunchly atheistic, right? And then one of the family members one day comes home and he's like, I joined the Baptist church. And it's like,
Yeah.
or you know, you grow up Protestant, and then one day one of the kids like declares that they're going to go to a Catholic monastery and become a monk. And you know, it's like people deal with that stuff all the time. So this really, if you think about it, it's really not that much different.
No, it's not. It's a belief system.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
A whole new paradigm.
So you have to like, you're either going to keep the family together or you're not, you know?
We want, you know, it's important for us to support each other as long as we are, you know, whatever we want to do is towards peace, balance, and correct conduct, you know.
Yeah.
Support each other. I mean, yeah, get each other on the same page. I mean, you don't have to be exactly in 100% agreement that this is what we should do. You know, everybody decides what they should do, but
Right.
it is getting us closer to peace, balance, and correct conduct, you know.
People will do what they
Really,
do.
I mean, pretty much all religions, pretty much, you know, like, you know, clean eating and fasting, you know, master fast makes it simple. So yeah, so it's all these little things, you know, bring us closer to peace, balance, and correct conduct, and so many things. I mean,
What else is there?
yeah.
Have a look out there.
It is a spiritual journey.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Our life is a spiritual journey.
Absolutely.
There's nothing else really that's more important than connecting, and it's not worth it otherwise.
Oh.
Nothing is worth it more than that.
And that's why it's so challenging.
It is challenging. At least let's support each other, you know, right? We do our best, starting with ourselves, and then our family, and then slowly other people.
Hey, well, just a real quick another nuts and bolts question. Because we were talking about chemicals before and additives and farming techniques. And so like the grape what I understand is that grapes in particular are particularly susceptible to chemical absorption, and strawberries as well. And then apparently other types of fruits are not as susceptible, and they have some natural protection against spraying. So like I understand that you guys just go for the cheapest grape juice possible. You know, I've heard that somewhere. Like you just get like whatever kind of Joe Smo grape juice that you can
Whatever you
get.
can get.
Whatever you want, really.
If
If your body is in the elimination mode, that stuff is not going to set. It's going to go.
It doesn't matter. That's what the belief is. Yeah, because if you're getting parts per million of nasty chemicals, it doesn't matter because you're still way ahead of the game, right?
There's something
Every
about
breath you take, brother, you're getting chemicals. Let me tell you, every single breath.
the key, John, is to be in a state where the body is more in elimination mode than obstructive mode.
Yeah.
That's the key. Eating 7 days a week, you are in zero elimination mode. I don't care what you eat. Your body's continuously obstructing.
Mm-hmm.
So, if somebody wants to buy organics, this, that, and the other thing, go ahead. But there's some people who cannot find it or not in a position to be able to afford it or whatever. So what are those people gonna do? We've had people doing master fasts with organic, without organic. There's absolutely, I haven't seen any difference.
No.
In
Yeah.
astounding metamorphosis changes. I haven't seen any difference. See, because our understanding is once we keep the body in that elimination mode, especially on a full MFS or complete elimination mode.
And remember, it's cooked juice.
Yeah, the body is dumping. It doesn't hold on to things. And also, when you're in elimination mode, everything that the body had stored starts to be purged. It doesn't happen when you're eating. It does not happen. You can have minimal things being drawn out of the body with herbs while you're eating. Minimal. You can only go so far. To truly detoxify from all the chemicals that we've been absorbing for our whole life, plus within our mother's belly, etc., we need to get in that fasting state, which is an elimination mode, and then the body starts purging. And these things are mostly, when they start being purged from the body, you're going to mostly feel something in the heart happening. That's what I've found when you're dealing with chemicals being purged from the body. You're going to feel tightness, palpitations, pinchiness, whatever.
We don't feel that from drinking organic versus not organic.
Yeah,
I don't feel
that.
That was my understanding. I thought I was pretty sure I understood it, but I wanted to hear, just because like grapes are apparently, like I said, they're more vulnerable.
High on the spray list, yeah.
Let me tell you something. Can I interrupt?
The thinner the skin on the fruit, it's more.
It's permeable.
Gino wouldn't eat non-organic grapes. Now this I know about him. You wouldn't eat non-organic, or sorry, non-organic, non-washed. We also need some non-organic, yes.
Yeah,
but you can tell the difference.
Conventionally grown grapes, I can't eat them on their own. I have to ozonate.
It has to ozonate.
Because the taste is so strong for me. But I read articles, this was years ago, when they did tests through juicing, and they found that a lot of chemicals did not pass through into the juice. This is an article I read many years ago.
It's cooked, right?
No, just juicing. Just
juice.
Testing the product before, how many chemicals, and testing it after, a huge reduction after it was juiced. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter, because what we understand is keep the body in elimination mode as much as you possibly can, so the body has the energy and time to purge that stuff. Otherwise, we're obstructing, and you're gonna be affected. we're breathing in stuff. We're being, you know,
Yeah.
affected by all kinds of chemicals left, right, and center. You
I
know,
mean,
just
yeah.
everywhere.
You would be
Yeah.
amazed by what comes out of you on the master fast. It does not matter.
The-
Organic,
you're-
not
yeah,
organic.
you're
The
gonna-
smell will prove it, okay?
You like, especially when you start going into really long ones, it goes through like phases, and you know, it seems like, oh, just pudding's coming out for a while, and then all of a sudden you get something that comes out that, you know, stinks up your whole house. And where the hell did that come from? Because you're going deeper and deeper and deeper into the layers, you know, because the body holds on to things energetically and physically, and you have to break through those barriers, and fasting will break through those barriers. I haven't seen anything break through those barriers like fasting. So, you know, when you go on the long ones specifically and particularly, and when you're living this for an extended period of time, you're going to see things being purged out. That's why, you know, I used to say before, you know, 9 years is a good start. It really is. 9 years is not a long time in completely stripping down and rebuilding the body with different materials. It's not a long time. It's not a long time. Yeah, it's you know, it's very difficult and for people to comprehend. It takes that long to really, you know, detoxify a physical body, you know, but there's not only physical involved. You got the mental, you got the emotional, you got the ancestral, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to work with all that. We can't just focus on one thing. Fasting will bring out everything. And that's what I found.
Physical.
Everything. There's nothing it will leave behind. It's just, are you ready to embrace and let it go? If you're not, you're going to go through your, whatever your cycles you're going to go through to try and avoid that purging.
I have done just,
That's-
to mention, I have done long, I think my first one was on Welch's, it was 108 days. And then after that, I started using the organic glass jarred. It was pretty much, it was exactly the same thing. I think I did that for 2 years, maybe 3, 4 years, I don't remember. And then now I'm back to the Welch's. Yeah, it's
because the organic skyrocketed in price.
oh, it's
Yeah.
it's like more than double.
Well, some of these things that these organic farmers use are very questionable.
Yeah, of course.
More than double
Nonsense.
organic.
They just
versus-
got the label, that's it.
Yep.
So you would say
Yeah, you know, just to, you know, like, I know it was an elementary question, but I just wanted to hear what you said about it, because Dr. Morse also was talking about healing people beautifully just with conventionally grown oranges, and how like people made huge benefits from oranges. And like, so he doesn't make the distinction either, you know?
You know,
Yeah.
the whole thing is that, are you obstructing or de-obstructing? It's that simple. Really that simple.
Yeah.
As far as nutrition and this and that and all that stuff, you don't need to pay attention to all that stuff and rack your brain around it, who, what, where, when, why, how it all works. Just put the body in a position where it can dump continuously, and it will heal. It will heal. It's the only thing that can. It's very simple. Like if it was up to me, I would not allow any food to be sprayed with man-made chemicals on the planet. That's one thing I would outlaw completely, utterly. Be thrown in prison for the rest of your life. You spray food supply. What the hell are we doing? It's insanity. It's insanity. But you know, it's not up to me. It's
Everybody together.
So you know, if you can, if there's organic food that's similar in price, so yeah, I'll buy it. But you know, sometimes you buy the organic food and it doesn't taste as good as the conventionally grown.
No way.
Why? You have to ask those, and I could tell you, because working with farmers, there's some farmers who grow conventional, but they're not certified, but they take care of their land.
Yeah, you were saying, yeah.
And then, you know, you got the organic guys are just there to get certified. They're having one of their friends buy all the chemicals and spray it anyway, because there was a study, I think, in US and also in Canada. They tested the organic supply food chain, and they found, I can't remember what it was, over 50%, I think, of the organic food was not organic. Like, there's a guy out BC, Mishif, I can't remember his name. He was involved in the organic certifying body. He says, this thing is a whole scam. He goes, we don't need these guys. Let's do it the easy, simple way, eliminate all these costs for farmers in the organic, bring down the costs. They shunned this guy, they shut him down. And this is what he said. He goes, we don't need to do all this book work, anything, for all these certifying bodies and all that extra expense. He goes, at the end of the season, we take samples. Is it organic? Yes, there's your stamp. Not, try again next year.
There you
Simple.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Cheap, simple. What do you mean it's not going to work? It's a simple.
Well, it's not only no, it's not going to work just because it's a business. People are going to just take as much as they can get from all the bureaucracy.
Yeah, the bureaucracy in the certifying bodies. It's an industry.
Of course,
Yeah,
it's
another industry.
They write a law and then the industry grows.
It's the way it is. So that's like a
Correct.
cancer industry, or like a diabetes industry, or like the automotive. It's an industry.
It's just a
You're not going
rat.
to shut them off.
Yeah,
The only way
I have a friend who sells dates. From the Coachella Valley in California, and the farm is what they call biodynamic. So there's like nothing. And
yeah, that's higher.
yeah, and then like at the farmer's market, when he's selling the dates, he has to explain it every time somebody asks, are these organic? Then he has to say, no, they're actually biodynamic, which is this, and this, and it's actually far superior to most organic produce that's out there. And like the dates are gorgeous. They're like,
They're not
oh my
certified?
gosh.
Is that it?
It's a different certification. It's teachings based on Rudolf Steiner.
So they're not certified organic, but
No, they're not. They can't be. They can't. They don't even. The company, the owner, doesn't even want them to be, because he just says, no, they're biodynamic. You just have to trust us that nothing goes on to these plants.
They can only use stuff within their environment.
Yeah.
If it's really difficult for you to bring anything in unless they find that you absolutely need something.
and
They don't allow anything.
And is there a certification for that as well?
Yeah.
Or he has to explain.
That's a good question.
There is a certifying body for biodynamic, but it's you're not going to find many. Go do a search
Yeah,
online.
most people are not certified for it.
There was one guy, an old guy. I remember we went. He used to be at a farmer's market. We used to go to years ago. He was biodynamic, but my tomatoes tasted way better just growing with ocean water. So, yeah.
How do you get ocean water in Toronto anyway?
Well, we used to sell it.
He used to sell it to the farmers.
But like you get it trucked in.
Yeah, but it was concentrated, so you didn't need as much, and you mix the product 100 to 1, so it goes a long way, right? It's like a concentrated fertilizer, It's, no different.
Like brine.
Yeah, well, it's ocean water. It's not a brine.
Hey, well,
Big difference.
I have lots.
It's life. Ocean water is life.
One drop of ocean water has more than 20,000 different bacteria. One drop.
Wow.
That's what they discovered, what they can see. It's probably infinite. It's like the universe. Macro and micro, it's infinite in all ways. So it's fascinating to see these things, but now we have the GANs materials where you're just giving your plants just energy. There's nothing in the water. There's absolutely nothing. It's just energy. People are growing beautiful plants. So
I got some gorgeous plants this year. Absolutely beautiful.
Did you spray them with Gans?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I made a couple barrels of it.
Nice.
Then my wife took it, so
She took it.
she stole it out of it. She used it on her flowers. That's all right.
She stole it.
Yeah. I asked her if she could. I told her she could use one, leave me the other, and she used both. So
That's okay.
I just make it up. Yeah.
But yeah, it's
I don't see any difference in the plants yet with the magnets. They look exactly the same. The magnets.
did you try both?
One north, one south. Yeah.
You don't see a difference?
No,
Taste?
they're not in yet.
Okay, but the taste too. I want to know what the taste. But the growth's the same right now?
Both is the same. Pretty damn close.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm probably 2 weeks, I think, maybe, away from having a tomato.
Nice.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's pretty quick. Awesome.
Oh, you should see the setup. They locked me down, so I didn't have anything else to do. Dug up another 200. What did I do? 6 by 30, another 200 square feet. I planted more tomatoes,
Wow.
and I got everything out there is on drip. I put
really?
irrigation on everything, and I got quick connects for everything. So all I got to do is take the hose, plug it in, and turn the water on.
Awesome.
Nice.
You set that up this year?
I've had it for years. I just never did as much as I did this year because I had so much time.
Right.
Nice.
Everything.
It saves you
All
time, right?
beds, every single bed is all drip.
You hooked it up yourself?
Oh yeah.
You save a lot of water that way too.
A tremendous amount. You never want to water overhead. That's where all the fungus.
Yeah.
You get all the fungus problems.
Yeah. And I was telling her, don't water in the heat.
No, never water in the heat.
Yeah.
You'll burn the roots. You'll burn the plant.
Yeah. I stopped.
Best time to water is at sunset.
Yeah.
And if it's really hot, don't even water in the morning because that'll cook the roots.
Yeah. There's nothing like rain though.
We got some good rain today.
They just,
Yeah, they're gonna explode. So the weeds will too, but that's all right.
yeah.
I don't have the weed problem here because I'm growing in the fabric mulch, so I have any weeds. I don't have to weed anything.
In what mulch?
Yeah, the fabric.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Either fabric or I got some plastic mulch. No weeds.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's time consuming, but like I say, there's no place to go, so.
Yeah. And the
But
last
it's sanctuary. When it gets a little bigger. I did this a couple of years ago. The beds I have very poor soil, and I had a pool there. So when I got rid of the pool a couple of years back, I put the beds in, but I actually separated them from the ground. They're not touching the ground. I get too many oak trees, these swamp oaks, and they send the roots out and they just lock the soil up tight. So I built the beds, I raised them up. They're about, I don't know, 3 feet off the ground. I don't have to bend over.
Are they touching the ground or off the ground?
Off the ground. Totally separate from the ground.
What did you build them with? Wood?
Yeah, native white oak. Oh, they're gorgeous. They're beautiful.
But
Absolutely beautiful.
How do you-
I made the soil.
how do you keep the wood from rotting? You have a liner?
No. It'll rot eventually, but it'll probably outlast me. It's oak. Native oak. Very, very durable.
Nice.
But I did about it's not quite square foot. I don't know if you're familiar with the square foot gardening. Every square foot you put a plant in. So it's really confined space. You get a lot of plants in it. So I got 4 beds that are 4 by 10, and I've got 96 plants in them. I did it a couple of years ago, and I had really good success with it.
Tomatoes or what are you growing?
No, in the beds, I got 3 beds got peppers in them, and the 4th has eggplant.
Wow.
So how'd you make the soil? By composting?
No, I just, when they excavated for the pool, I used that soil. I screened it off. This took years. Believe me, this was not overnight. Literally, it took me years. I screened all the stone out and all the crap out.
Holy jeez.
All by hand. And then I just started making a mixture. I used the soil. I used compost. I used planting mix. Like it.
Wow.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
That's sounds like a lot of work. Screening all the soil.
Beautiful, it's worth it.
Screened it all. I don't know how, and I'm landlocked. I can't get any kind of equipment, even even a small something. I can't get anything in the yard. It's a small yard anyway. So I took it all out, all the stones and all the crap out in 5-gallon buckets. And I think I was close to, I don't know, 150, 175 pails.
Beautiful. When you love what you're doing,
Yeah, I love it.
It's worth it.
it's not work.
It's not work at all. Especially when you're physically in contact with the dirt, with the earth.
Yeah.
I mean, skin contact, not
Yeah.
when I'm in the field. I got boots on, so I'm never in, only when I'm physically planting out there that I'm in contact with the earth. But here it's more because I'm always touching.
It's very, very balancing when you touch the
Oh,
earth.
I'm telling you, aside from starting yoga, it was the only place I could shut everything off. Just get out there and I could shut everything off. Now I can do that in the yoga practice. That once I get into the studio, everything just turns off. I did it. I had a session this morning, and the instructor's husband joined us. It was freaking powerful, very powerful, very spiritual. The energy was tremendous.
So was it like a studio
Yeah, she had a little studio in her house.
in her house? Yeah. How many people?
Just 3 of us.
Oh, nice.
Usually it's just me and her. I'm taking private lessons. She hasn't opened up.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's powerful. It really is. She's the one that I get the colonics from.
Ah, cool.
She's close. She's the only one that does any type of fasting that I know. Here, I mean, physically that I have contact with.
Awesome.
She doesn't do a massive fast, but she fasts. And colonics and all other kinds of things. It's nice. Nice to have
She's into fruits and
nice
vegetables.
to have an in-person contact with somebody,
Yeah. Cool. I want to get back into yoga. Took a long break. Time to go back. It feels really nice.
I can't move. I can't straighten my legs out, so it's killing me. Oh,
Do you do it every day?
yeah.
Which time?
With her, I'm doing it twice a week, and then I do it my own right here in this room here.
Mm-hmm. Which type do you do?
Vinyasa,
Yeah. Nice. Vinyasa is nice.
and then one time she called it bhakti. She's
That's flow yoga. Flow yoga,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
There's like a Ashtanga, which is like a lower, more athletic but it's still
But
the sun salutation.
she integrates a lot of the practices into one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That has lots of
And she never plans either. She doesn't say, well, we're going to do this today. She goes by whatever energy she feels. That's how she goes.
amazing.
Yeah, it is really amazing.
you get private
Amazing
lessons?
person. Huh?
Are you getting like privates?
Yeah. Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
My first teacher, we had, he was doing class at a studio down here, and then that place closed. And then he says, okay, I can come to your house. And so we were doing it at my house for about a couple of years. There's a few of us, three of us that used to do it regularly. Even my cousin Mark, he was joining. He was doing good, man. He was getting, more bound, and then all of a sudden he just didn't want to do it no more. It was really weird. But he was, he was doing much better, man. It was awesome. But yeah, you got to keep going, man. I see too many people give up on everything. It's just, everybody wants everything handed to them.
It's okay. Sometimes, take a break and come back when you're ready. We know that you had a taste, so
No value when you get something handed to you. You got to work
All
for it.
my life, all until I got sober. Everything, even being as screwed up as I was, everything came so easy. I mean, so freaking easy. I didn't have to work for anything. I was a straight A student in school if I chose to be. I never did homework. I never studied. I was just able to absorb. Even in a screwed up state, I could absorb the information. And when the test came, I could just spit it right back out. I never had to work for anything. So there was no value in anything. Zero value. And then when I got into the rooms at AA, they said, you pray for a slow recovery, very slow. And I got a slow recovery. So I'll tell you, it took a lot of work for me to be sitting in this chair tonight with you people. I'm not giving it up for anything. A lot of work.
That's amazing.
They said pray
Just
for
like master
slowly.
fast is a lot of work. But what value would we have in it if there was no challenge to it?
Yeah, it's about
There's nothing. There would be no value. You wouldn't stick with it. Nobody does. It's hard enough to get anybody to stick with it if it comes easy.
They were saying to pray for a slow recovery. Is that what they said?
Yeah.
They don't want you to recover quickly.
Correct.
They know, like master fast. Don't do it too fast. Take your time.
Well, that's the thing.
I
Like,
quit drinking in 1996, but sobriety probably didn't start for 10 years. 10 years later, to really start understanding what was going on.
Right.
I mean, obviously things are progressing and growth is coming, but to sit down and say, okay, I'm a sober man today, that was probably closer to 15 years.
Yeah.
Because not drinking and sobriety are two totally different things.
well, I like master fast. This is something I'm still trying to understand about the master fast. Because I know you have the levels, you have 1 through 7, and that fully makes sense to me. But the actual ingredients of the plasma pudding and the grape juice, it's more on the, and as you say, it's more on like the, that we haven't found anything that is as powerful as this system. But what I think is that it's almost a little too much for me sometimes. And I feel like, oh my gosh,
What do you mean?
I just put down 2 quarts of grape juice. And what I always end up thinking about is how, I mean, if you're talking about plasma physics and the field energy of all of the plants in the world, then it seems to me, and like, I think I brought this up once before, I'm trying to ask the question and construct it better, but it seems to me that there are many, 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 and like, you know, you're talking about herbs where every herb and every plant and fruit, and particularly fruits, has a signature, has like a field signature to it, right? So you understand what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
existence.
each yeah, it's like every plant has a signature. So, you know, you guys from trial and error, you came up with the idea that, and the not just the idea, but the reality of the fact that dark grape juice is superior for cleansing, combined with lemon juice and other things. So it's like, but it seems to me that if other fruits are obstructive by nature, then why is it that we have like 40 million gorgeous fruit varieties that you would think theoretically would have their own field signature, right? So that I the trouble I have is seeing all of those fruits as by nature obstructive.
Well, that's if you believe that we're meant to eat physical foods, John. If you come to the a new understanding that we are beings of light and we operate on the same principles as the atom in all the universe, we don't need to eat physical foods. So how can foods not be obstructive? That's the question I ask. They all are obstructive. Even the grape juice is obstructive. Go on a long dry fast and drink your grape juice and watch what happens.
Get mucus. I get
Yeah,
immediately.
It creates mucus.
No.
the body
The
creates.
body creates the mucus to protect itself. So that's what I think people are misunderstanding the mucus part of this.
Yeah. The body.
So
The foods do not produce mucus. The body produces the mucus to protect itself from the poisons that are being introduced. That's
So-
what mucus science.
The fruit kingdom, from all the foods that we can consume as humans, by far are least obstructive. That's what we see. Now, this thing about through trial and error about the grape juice, it wasn't through trial and error. I shared this in 1990. I did my first 40-day fast with cooked Concord grape juice. And I ended up in bed for 2 years after. Okay. That all was put to the side, trying to get out of that and then going into raw foods and everything. Raw is law. I put that cooked stuff out of my mind for decades until I almost killed myself with a high-fat raw vegan diet and going through the teachings of plasma science and being triggered to that experience in 1990 and the new understanding of plasma science and coming to the understanding of what happened way back then, because I didn't know what happened back then. So
but how do you say it's, why do you say, I'm just wondering, why do you say it wasn't trial and error? Like when you did it initially.
Well,
right.
It was, I look at it as it was all for purpose, trial and error. All these experiences came to me for me to go through it for a learning experience. And this is how Master Fast came out with. Plus, you know, all the different teachers and wonderful teachers I've been exposed to and all the different experiences and all that, coming way back full circle to a 1990 event with a better understanding. And that's where Masterfast is, because of all the different experiences. What you're saying is trial and error. It's in that sense, but the juice itself, that how we found that it's so powerful as a stripper is because of that experience in 1990. I was put on that. And of all the different types of fasting, John, in all these decades, there's nothing that comes close. And after thousands of people going through Masterfast, thousands of people from all walks of life, sad, vegans, vegetarians, raw foodists, fruitarians, they're all plugged up. Get them on Masterfast and they start purging. There's some people that were on fruitarian diet for years and couldn't get themselves to purge. Get on Masterfast, boom, they purge. So
I think there was at the beginning.
Well, yeah, I don't question that at all. Like I like, here's the thing. It's like, for me, like I was telling you, I'm kind of like a bipolar eater and I tend to swing. So when you have a tool like Masterfast, what that is definitely addressing more of the kind of like the more extreme side of things that remove obstruction and fruits that remove obstruction. You came up with this formula, and it's a little bit more on the it's way over on the side of the aggressive type of cleanse. So my main question that I'm a little bit concerned in my own case is that something this strong, even if you're only, like, I'm doing it every other day, I'm not eating properly in between. Okay. So I admit that wholeheartedly, but the fact that this concoction is so strong for elimination purposes, it's like, I feel like this can it, for me personally, it's just like setting up a perfect scenario for swing. You know what I mean? So it's like if you're doing other fruitarian types of regimens where you're eating fruitarian and you're eating lots of fruit days that are 100% strict fruit diet, it seems like it's a more gentle approach to
because you're not purging. You're only going to be able to clean up to a certain amount of the obstructiveness of the whatever diet you're eating. The swinging is a natural state to be in, because everything in the universe continuously is in waves and cycles and vortexes and so on and so forth. And, you know, I've always said that it's like a swing, like you exactly said, like a swing. You know, you have to find the balance. At the beginning, it's going to be very erratic from a very obstructed body, and as you start cleaning out the body, the swing becomes more in a elegant dance kind of situation where it's controllable. But when you start off, it's going to feel very, very aggressive, is the word you used. You know, the fasting state, to me, is it's the divine natural state. So if that's aggressive for people, that's aggressive. But I feel that the eating, the state of being, the cycle of eating, you know, the what's the word I'm looking for? The act of eating is a much more aggressive to the body than a fasting is to a body. It's just that we have it backwards.
Yeah.
You know, because we've always been eating for generations, and that's what we believe we need to do.
You know,
that's what we believe is the natural state, where we've not seen that evidence in Masterfast in 5 years now. You know, we've seen the complete opposite. You put people in the natural state, and the magic happens like we've never seen before. And, you know, people are going to swing.
I want to mention something. I hear that we hear that a lot, of course, in the master fast. The what's it called? Swinging. You know, from one side to the other, because we're fasting, right? And then eating, and then fasting, and then eating. Um, now, I mean, we have to remember, and we have to admit, many of us come from. I came from raw vegan into this whole lifestyle. Gino did, before I met him, 10 years of raw vegan. Before that, like, so he's been in the field for 30 years. And all my life, I had, you know, my diet was swinging. Like, it doesn't matter what diet I was doing. I was always up and down, up and down. I was like, yeah, extreme almost. Most of the time I would watch what I'm eating, but sometimes I would just give in to like something that is not ideal, and I feel horrible after. So this will happen whatever diet you follow. Even if you do fruitarian, people who do fruitarian will tell you, oh, I overate, or oh, I fell off for a bit and I ate you know, non-fruitarian and it was heavier, and you will find all kinds of things. So it's, now we know fasting is really the ideal for us. We have tried this and we have tried that, different things, and fasting is the most comfortable for the body, right? So we'll just have to find our balance with it. That's what master fast lifestyle is about. Find your balance with it, and when you eat, do your best to eat cleaner. If you don't, it's okay, but you will feel it. You will feel it. So you want to learn. I mean, we're not saying go and eat meat and stuff like that and heavy food and junk food, because you'll really pay a high price, and you might end up you may end up, you know, like damaging your body. You don't want to do that. It's up to you, but it's,
John, let me ask you, what are you looking for to accomplish?
Well, I'm interested in improving my memory. You know, I have a pretty good memory. We were talking about that. I mean, aside from spiritual matters, you mean? Is that what you're asking?
No,
Generally,
this is good, yeah.
spiritual, physical.
Well, definitely. Like, I see. Here's the thing. I know in my heart that what you've achieved and what you're trying to help people achieve is correct. Like, I have that part of my belief system. You know, austerity, fasting. I've always been attracted to the idea of fasting. You know, Jesus in the desert for 40 days kind of thing. Like, it's always been attractive to me. So it's just plain instinct. And, you know, but I also grew up in the United States, like in the 60s and 70s, where, you know, you would just eat anything that they would throw at you.
Mm-hmm.
Pop-Tarts, you know. So it's like you're naturally going to develop an eating disorder. I mean, I did. So spiritual matters, my memory, just, you know, the same as anybody, just feeling of freedom, spiritual freedom, enlightenment, reincarnation, whatever, you know, however you want to think of it, spiritual evolution, you know.
That's definitely much higher when you fast versus eat. You can't compare.
None, no comparison.
You know,
I mean, yeah.
the basic thing that
benefits cannot-
you know, we keep saying, peace, balance, and correct conduct. If we come to the understanding that all the universes work in that way, and they would not exist if they didn't, because they would self-destruct. And, you know, once we consciously choose to move in that direction, we're not perfect, and by all means, I'm nowhere near that, but consciously, I continuously remind myself to move in that direction. And when you looked at the act of eating, consuming another living entity, whether it's an animal or a plant or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I have to come to the understanding that I should not be interfering with other life forms. That's me personally, the way I see things. So
Yeah.
when we look at the eating, what's the least impact that we can have when we're eating something? For me, it would be the fruit kingdom.
The easiest.
You allow the seed to continue.
Yeah.
Because the
Spread the
seeds
seed.
carry the soul. That would be the least
Karma.
impact for us. But is everybody going to be fruitarian? Absolutely not. Not, especially not in big cities that don't grow this stuff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Not, you don't have fresh food available all year round. So we got to make choices of when we eat, let's choose the best we can, but let's choose to eat less and less and less. Just think, John, if somebody fasts 1 day a week, at the end of the year, how many days is that? It's 52 days of fasting.
Oh yeah.
How much of an impact if the whole world did that tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, the thing about the seed, that's very interesting. You know,
Oh yeah, it's the least
that
karmic, right?
it's the least karmic. I've always known that. I never thought of it in terms of preservation of the seed, but that's very true. And see, the thing about the fruit trees, even if you're ingesting another living being, and it's like a fruit tree has this delicious, gorgeous, attractive fruit hanging from it, bursting with flavor, ready to fall off anyway.
Nice.
So it's just meant for humans to eat. Let's face it, right?
We can
So,
look at that.
however, the existence of a fruit tree, it could be that it has nothing to do with us. It's like why do we have to be involved with the existence of a fruit tree, right?
Fruit trees were here a lot longer than we have been.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you know,
we came after.
let's look at a rose, for example. We go look at a beautiful rose, and we can enjoy it exactly where it is, or we can cut it and take it home, put it in a thing, you know, instead of just letting it go through its existence the way it was designed to go. So we're changing that. Falls off the tree, goes into the earth, recycles, refeeds the tree, back and forth. So there's many ways of looking at it, but we're all thinking in the physical. When we look at it through higher order of energetics, we see a whole different picture. We see a whole different picture. We don't need to physically consume to interact with the energies of that tree. We can take in the aroma. And if you know anything about essential oils, there was a guy, I can't remember his name. He made this a piece of equipment to measure the frequencies of plants and so on and so forth. And everything has that signature, right? But he measured it with frequencies, which I'm not a fan of frequencies. But anyway, Rose was one of the highest thing he measured as far as frequency. I can't remember how many megahertz it was. I don't remember the guy's name. This was many years ago. So it was very interesting to see things. You know, fruits were pretty high and so on and so forth. But the rose oil, the essential oils, these are the aromas that we are just taken in by odor. It's just a field that we cannot see, right? Or touch. It's just, we can sense it through the sense of smell. So that's a perfect example of a field that has a signature of matter state, of physicality through the senses, right? But we can't feel it, touch it, and see it, but we can smell it. And it's these things, essential oils. If you look, a lot of people have been helped with just essential oils, just using essential oils. Because what does it do? When we take in air in through the nostril into the lung, that is connected to the physicality of man. And we take in these fields of the odors of the plants, and it affects our physicality. It helps us bring balance in a very powerful way. The smelling, like for instance, the GANS materials, the most powerful way to take in the fields of the GANs is what? Not drinking them, but breathing them, breathing in the fields. Why? Because it affects the physicality the most, and of course the emotion. But
well, the rose example is very good. You human beings, we just have to screw with everything. We cut off the rose.
exactly. You
and
need,
we bring
you know,
it
for
home
rose,
because
roses,
you know,
rose is one of my favorite essential oils. I've always have rose around.
yeah.
Very expensive, because the reason it's so expensive is Nadine from Living Libations, who we have in the shop to buy essential oils. She's been working with essential oils since she was a little girl, and she shared the info that you need 40 roses to make 1 drop of rose oil.
Wow.
40 roses, if that's the correct number. It was something in that neighborhood. I'm pretty sure it was 40, but so just think about how why is this thing so expensive? Well, you need 40 roses to make 1 drop. So how many roses in 1 bottle like this? Like a bottle like this is going to probably cost you pure, proper, organic rose oil is going to cost you 90. This will cost you probably $200.
Oh yeah, the small ones.
Little tiny things like 50, 60 bucks.
Yeah.
And this is, love frequency.
So Rana mentioned 90. My friend, no, I know. I'm just saying my friend sells essential oils, and there's this little tiny bottle. A long time ago, she gave me, I think it was lemon balm, or it was like this really expensive, tiny little 1/4 ounce bottle for like $90 US. And I was like, what? Like she wanted to sell it to me. And but she took a drop and she put it, like in yoga, you have the liver meridian on the bottom of your foot, in between the pads of your foot, right? Like it's in the front. That's called the liver meridian. So she put it right there. I swear. And like I was just on sad diet or whatever at the time. I swear it went right to my brain. It was like a religious experience. Like it went right to my brain. It was 1 drop.
Where's it going through, John? It's going through the meridians. What's a meridian? Is there physicality to meridians? Absolutely not. You understand where we're going? It's all the power of energetic.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example that you felt the power of the fields of the rose. It's immediate. Bang.
Yeah, or the lemon. It was like some kind of expensive lemon. I don't know what it was. It was like lemon balm or.
Yeah, there's a few, if you look in the essential oils, there's a few that are very expensive. Rose is one of the high ones.
It says here 5 milliliters takes 22 pounds of petals
22 pounds.
to make 5 milliliters of rose oil.
Yeah, well, that works out to whatever, 40 roses per drop.
Buy it for $251.32.
Yeah. It's their prices, like I haven't checked them in a while. They're expensive, very expensive. If you get pure rose oil, a lot of them cut it to get good quality rose oil. You need to have the senses. I remember I brought basil to Nadine many years ago. I grew with ocean water, and the smell was absolutely amazing. And I handed her, I go, here, I've just pulled out a plant. I handed her the plant. She goes, my goodness, this smells complete. And as soon as she says that word, it registered 100%. I knew that what she meant, it was complete. It was, there's a knowing. The ocean water gave the plant what it needed, and it corrected the energetics for that plant to come out the way it did. And that's what it was. It was complete. So yeah, there's amazing things are happening. you know, in the next few years, we're going to see more and more things about energy coming forth, about fields and plasma and so on and so forth. And it's going to be a beautiful thing to experience, because the physical stuff, we've been doing that for thousands of years, doesn't work. We just keep destroying ourselves and the earth and everything else. So we need to have a new plan. And you know, I feel Master Fast allows people to get a taste very profoundly and strongly into this new era of the fields, very powerfully. Um, I haven't seen anything that puts us in this state. In all these years, I haven't seen it. I haven't experienced it. And it's safe. The way we have it structured, it's safe. You know, it's follow the protocol. It's very safe. Boy, oh boy, you know, we released a wild card, and people were not really ready for it. That's what I saw in the first 3 years. It's just people were not ready for the power of Master Fast. You know, every excuse in the book to not continue. It's just not ready. Maybe some of them are coming back because they can't let go of that experience. It's there. It's in the memory. You can't let it go. And you may, you know, will drift away from it, whatever. And it's there for, you know, and we're here, and MFS is here for people when they're ready. But that's what I saw. It was just like we unleashed it, and it changed the whole detoxification world overnight. Overnight, you know, just it was interesting to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to kind of comment on that too. I think you're right in that, because, you know, to heal, we kind of have to go backwards, right? So we have to get rid of the physical so that then we can get rid of the emotional. And with such a long master fast, coming from holding on to everything, it's just too many emotions are released after all at the same time that it becomes overwhelming. So what you have now with the levels is a lot better, because then you have a little bit of physical purge, and then kind of have to, you know, endure the emotional purge after, and you just keep repeating the cycle over and over and over again, and it's much more manageable because it comes out in small doses rather than everything, all the emotions all at once, you know, for many months. It's too much. So then people just kind of pack it back on, and then they have to start over again.
Yeah, exactly. When I was, you know, 1990, I was in a very toxic state back then. But what I see today is humans are in a way more toxic state, way more. I completely underestimated how toxic people are in generally. And
they eat McDonald's every day, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. So,
and the stress of life too.
Yeah, and with, you know, with this instant gratification society that we've built, everything needs to be like that. You know, drugs, bang, you feel wasted. That's the mentality. So when you're doing this, there's all that emotions that are going to come to the surface, all your ancestral emotions, all the emotions of everybody in our environments that we deal with socially, et cetera, in our homes, whatever, at work. We're dealing with a lot more stuff now. We're freaking getting messages left, right, and center with these things. Our computers. It's a whole different era than when I started 31 years ago. It's way more. You know, it's a whole different mentality right now than it was. So allowing people to move it at a slower pace to understand that it's a lifestyle, which we've said from the start, but nobody was registering what a lifestyle it is. But you know, this is what it is. It's a lifestyle. It's
you're right.
You either take a hold of it or you don't. There's not really any in betweens. Some people maybe jump in a fast every few years or something like that. That's what some people will do.
Before I met Gino, I did maybe 2 years before. I did 100-day raw juice fast. It was mainly cantaloupe, and again, I did it also with thinking, yeah, I'm gonna purify my body, and then that's it. I'm gonna be perfect after, and it did not work like that at all.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing. I mean, with the master fast, the purge was, you can't compare. With the cantaloupe, I did not release much. I actually didn't lose much weight. With the cantaloupe, I was bloated, and with the master fast, it was all about releasing. Big difference. But yeah, I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. It was my first fast ever. My friend wanted to lose weight, so he wanted me to do it with him. So I supported him, although I was just starting the raw food. So I did it with him, but I did not really care to fast. So I didn't have any experience with fasting. I was actually kind of worried.
This is what's happening. People are jumping into fasting. They have no clue what
I only
fasting
had
is.
a few months of raw food experience, and then I started that. So it was not powerful while doing it. And then afterwards, definitely my cravings were crazy. I was just thinking about food nonstop. And I didn't understand. And I had bleeding, I think, a week after I broke my fast, because I broke it with raw food, and I kept going with raw food for 2 weeks at least. But I think I had raw crackers. I bought raw crackers, and I think they were too harsh. I think a few days after, and I was bleeding. Hemorrhoids, I guess. It scratched. I don't know. I got constipated probably and had hemorrhoids, and maybe scratched it with the food that I was eating. And it was very scary, very scary. Like you can't talk to anyone about this because you don't know many people who are fasting.
Go to your doctor.
And what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I thought everything would be perfect. I will clean myself up. And that's, I believe, the same mentality. Many people come to the master fast thinking, I'm gonna do a 108-day fast, feel amazing. And when they're doing it, they're absolutely like purging and feeling great and no hunger and all the good stuff. And, much better focus and spirituality and, and many people we see it until today. Oh, I feel great. I'm not hungry at all. Yeah, sure. But when you start eating, after a few days, you're going to be hungry again. And it depends what you're eating. It's not easy to eat clean all the time after you break a long fast, because your mind will play tricks on you.
Yeah. John, let me ask you this. Yeah. Why is it that when you start eating, you get hungry? What do you think?
Well, first of all, can you hear me?
Yeah.
First of all, I lost you guys for about 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay.
I'm using a hotspot on my phone now because I'm having Wi-Fi trouble. But well, I would say that it's a combination of things, and I think we've covered a few reasons. You have like emotional stuff where you're just, it's like a knee-jerk reaction to tasting it again, or there's whatever they call false hunger, where your stomach actually shrinks in size. If you're on a fast for a long time and your stomach shrinks, and then you suddenly eat, and then you like stretch it out again, and the pliability of your stomach, like it causes all these different reactions, and you're like, oh my gosh, I just ate a meal and now I'm really hungry,
Does that make sense?
I don't know, maybe that's part of it. Huh?
Does that make sense? You just ate and you're hungry?
Well, yeah, it's like a reaction. The nerves that are in your stomach are causing a weird reaction because your stomach was perfectly happy being smaller, during the fast, and it contracted into its normal size, like
Okay,
a natural state.
that's
Like,
Steve.
That's an,
is that right?
that's an interesting point of view.
Well, yeah. I mean, like that. I'm not saying that's my point of view, but I'm saying that there is something that people explain in that manner that like would be called false hunger,
Yeah, I think
and it
it
has
is.
to do with like,
I think
Simpler than that.
so, yeah, exactly. Steve probably.
Triggers the addiction. It's a
Yeah.
trigger.
It's obstruction.
First mouthful of food just triggers the cycle.
What does the first shot do to you, Steve?
Oh,
Same thing, right?
oh yeah.
This,
Yeah.
what drug addict, first shot, what does it do?
Thing, just triggers.
oh,
That's
Oh.
all. We're just discussing here, right? We
For
don't
me,
really know the 100% answers, but
I feel it's the obstructions. You put the obstructions will trigger the cravings. Anything that blocks you will trigger the cravings. With the alcohol, it's interesting. It's probably also it has to do with like some kind of obstruction that will well the obstructions. Okay, you know we don't.
The obstruction with all emotion.
Huh?
With the drugs and alcohol, that's all emotion. You don't want to feel.
Right. Right. You know, yeah. Well, we don't talk so much about parasites, but let's let's put them in the
there's
story.
influence.
Let's put them in the story. So I feel with the food, the obstructions from the food are now food for the parasites, and the parasites will start being hungry again. Now, the alcohol, the smoking, I heard that actually nicotine is addictive because of parasites, and when you stop smoking for a long time, you don't have the parasites that feed on it, and so you don't have the cravings. And maybe when you put it back, you feed them again, and maybe same thing with alcohol. Maybe.
yeah.
I don't know. I never picked
It's
up
very
on
interesting.
so.
It could be the answer would be through the parasites, but the obstruction, yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, like I had a Chinese doctor way back in like 15 years ago, and he would always say, "Don't say me, say we," because he was talking about parasites.
Oh,
So he's like, "Yeah, say we, it's we." He would always correct you when you said me.
I don't think you can ever get rid of parasites.
yeah, not completely.
They're part of creation and they have their purpose to do what they have to do. It's the problem is we change the environment that they overtake and that becomes a problem. But otherwise, they're everywhere. They're in the ocean, they're on land, they're in the air, they're everywhere.
I'm sure there are different types. Some of them will feed on the obstructive foods, and some will,
I don't think the creator made a mistake in creating them.
No.
Everything has a purpose. We just don't understand them. So that's why I say, why do we got to worry about parasites?
No worry. It's just a way of
change
explaining
the environment, and you will see that they will start leaving or die. It's simple. Will we get rid of all of them? I don't think so. Not in the environment we live anymore. There's always going to be something.
Who cares about getting rid of all of them?
Yeah, but they're part of our physicality.
Yeah. But the more obstructive the food is, maybe we have more parasites.
There has to be the balance, like the candida and everything else, the blood and this and all the other. There has to be that beautiful balance to keep things functioning and in good shape.
Yeah, for sure.
Why do we need to understand it?
Yeah.
Is it going to help us?
Well, you asked.
I haven't seen. Yeah, but no, I know. It's just to talk. I haven't seen. Studying all this stuff ever bring me anything closer to health. It brought me further away and in trouble. So.
I mean, it goes back to the obstructions, and that's really what's in our control, not the parasites. They're not in our control.
The information that came through is keep it simple. Keep it simple. Imbalance, balance, choose how you want to live. How do we move into a balanced way of living? Slow down, stop eating, rest, fast, and purge and watch what happens. This can't make it any more simple than that. We use a lot of tools because there's a lot of emotions, a lot of expressions.
Any addiction, 72 hours, the physical addiction is broken. I don't care what the substance is.
After
The rest is all emotional. It takes 72 hours for the body to break the physical addiction to any substance, no matter what it is.
Yeah, like when you're fasting, what are the most?
And that's 3 days. So when you go into a fast, you get to that third day and beyond.
It's easier, right?
Right? So 70, smoking, nicotine is away from it.
Right.
For most people, unless they're really obstructed. Yeah, 3 days usually you start, get
Well,
that.
physically.
Yeah, of course.
The rest is all.
Emotions start coming when you go deeper.
That's a whole other animal.
Can I actually, that's really interesting that you say that 72 hours because it makes a lot of sense for me. Because what I've been doing is I'm on level 1. And so I have my dry fast day. And then for the next 3 days after that, I make sure that I get over the hump of the emotions and I only have fruit. Sorry, it's kind of dark in here. And then what I do is I choose some type of food thing that I'm going to eliminate, and I never go past that. And so every week I'm eliminating more and more and more to the point that eventually I'll just stick with the fruit, and I don't find that I ever go back to craving whatever it is that I decided that I was going to eliminate, whether it was okay, going back, like I eliminated dairy. So I did my week and I decided that dairy was not coming back into my diet after this little mini fast thing. So I had my dry day, and then of course like the liquid in the morning, the juice in the morning, and then in the afternoon I'd have fruit, and I would do that for 3 days. And then on the 4th day I would then start eating again, but never get to the point where I would have dairy. And then that's only 3 more days. So I'd have 3 days like that. And then I'd start again with my dry fast again and just kind of repeat the cycle. And sometimes I would do maybe a month where it's not going to be dairy, and then once I find that really, really easy, then I choose the next food thing and I go with that. And I've been finding it very, very easy, actually. Like there's not a lot of forcing, and the first few times it's like you have to remind yourself, oh yeah, I'm not gonna have dairy, because it's like the habit of reaching to that, or putting some cheese in your salad or whatever. Well, now you have to think about not doing it, and then eventually you forget about it, and then you move on to the next food thing. And so it's kind of a bit more of a gentler way. I don't know, John, like if you're having a lot of trouble with big swings, then I don't know, maybe you could try it. But it's been working for me. Yeah, just really taking it slow, cleaning up the diet, like really concentrate on cleaning up the diet before going on a longer MFS.
Yeah, like I don't do dairy. Like I never crave dairy. Like I crave bread.
Okay.
And so I try to eat gluten-free bread. I don't know if it's any better, but it seems like it is. It seems like a lighter vibration to eat gluten-free bread.
Depends what grain.
Semantics.
Huh?
Semantics. It's wheat.
Semantics.
Wheat is terrible. Wheat is one of the worst things you can put in your body.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Especially today's wheat.
Gluten-free bread is
Usually not wheat.
the kind that I eat. There's no wheat in it at all. It's made of teff. There's the teff flour and different kinds of flour.
Yeah. That's better.
Yeah.
Melinda, what you said you're doing level 1. Are you doing liquids on that day?
Level 1? No, I'm doing dry. So I do 24-hour dry once a week.
All right.
And then usually on the first day when I go back to having stuff, usually the first day is liquids, but not always. Sometimes I do eat fruit. I just kind of go with how I'm feeling and how heavy the emotion is that kind of comes up. Sometimes there's not really much that comes up, and sometimes there's something very heavy that comes up, and I just endure it and I force myself through because I know it's going to pass, and it never lasts much longer than I have to say, like 72 hours, like you said, Steve. Like I haven't come across something that, sorry, an emotion that has affected me for longer than 3 days. So
Yeah.
so that's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's the thing, you know, if we force things, it always backfires.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have to allow the process to take hold. We embrace it. But when we force it, yeah, you can force it for a certain amount of time, but it's always going to come back and bite you. So it's the choice is always ours to decide how we want to go. So what are we at? 9 o'clock. We can go into meditation if everybody wants to join. And if you want to leave, thank you for joining. Well, that cut a little
Thank you.
shit.
Thank you, John.
Thanks a lot. Take it easy.
Thank you,
All right, John. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Let's get comfortable. Get ready, close our eyes. And let's focus on our breath. Just let the body go. Feel all the muscles relaxing. The toes, the feet, the ankles, the calves, the knees, the quads, the buttocks, stomach, the lower back. Moving up the back, spine, chest, shoulders, biceps, forearms, hands, neck, and head. And eyes are getting heavier. There's lots going on around the planet. Lots of emotions, lots of thoughts, lots of energy moving. And continue focusing on your breath and just let all those thoughts go. Thoughts will always be there. Many of the thoughts are not even ours. We pick up on all types of fields and different thoughts from different people. And some of us may think that they all are our own thoughts, but fields don't work that way. We can pick up all sorts of energetic signatures, and we interpret it as our own thoughts. So we let them all go, focus on that breath, in through the nose, out through the nose. Start the breath at the tailbone. As we inhale, we drive that breath up the spine to the top of the head. On the exhale, down the front of the face, down the front of the body, back to the tailbone. In we go up we go down, in we go up we go down, in we go up we go down, in we go up we go down. Let's take our focus to the area below the belly button. And just manifest a mini tornado with the tip of the tornado touching the body below the belly button, spinning counterclockwise. Implosion brings balance. Explosion brings chaos. Though what may appear to be chaos is just, we don't come to that understanding of what's really happening when we're only looking in the physicality. And focusing on that tornado spinning faster and faster as it brings balance to that lower chakra. Keep the tongue on the roof of the mouth first. Roll it back and suck on it. By sucking on your tongue with it rolled back, it forms hydration within the body. And as we continue to focus on the breath and the tornado and bring balance to the chakras, we will see moisture start to form in our mouth. If the mind wanders or any thoughts present themselves, just let them go. There's no need for them at this point, no purpose. As we focus on bringing balance to our chakras, we help bring balance to the rest of the planet. Can't be separate from all of creation. The body's getting more and more relaxed as the tornado is spinning faster and faster. Let's take that focus of the tornado to the genitalia. The tip of the tornado touching the genitals. The lower chakras are what keeps us grounded in this physicality. And we see that when people start true detoxification, They lack the feeling of feeling grounded because the lower chakras are way out of whack. And as we continue to purge and meditate energetically, we restore balance, and we will feel more and more grounded with less and less. Focusing on the tornado, spinning faster and faster, bringing balance to that area with the tongue in the position we chose, and the breath continuously in through the nose, driving the breath deep into the groin, out through the nose. Tornado spinning faster and faster. Our physical body is in a complete relaxed state where we can drift away with our consciousness anywhere we like and continue to focus on the physical aspect of ourselves. The tornado spinning faster and faster as it brings balance to that area. Let's move the focus to the perineum, the loose skin between the anus and genitals. The tornado spinning faster and faster as it brings balance to that area. Energetically, this area is very powerful. It's been known in the Vedics, yogas for thousands of years, in the martial arts. Keep that area healthy. You can exercise it physically and also through meditation. Physically, you can tighten the muscles and release. Do that over and over as the tornado is spinning faster and faster, bringing balance to that area. Continue to focus on the breath. And then the tornado spinning faster and faster. Let's move the attention to the tip of the tailbone. Tip of the tornado touching the tip of the tailbone. Spinning faster and faster counterclockwise. The tongue in the position we chose. If the mind wanders, just bring it back. the root chakra. The root chakras are something we can all use extra effort and work towards bringing balance in this physical realm. Meditation is a very powerful tool. Meditation can be practiced 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Many forms of meditation. As the tornado spinning faster and faster, bringing balance to that area, we help bring balance to the rest of the planet. Let's keep the focus sharp and clear. If you hear any noises, it only sharpens and pinpoints our focus even more. Let's move the attention from the tailbone to up the spine between the kidneys. The king and queen with their crowns, the adrenals. Beautiful, marvelous creations, as is the whole physical body and all parts of creation throughout all the universes. The tornado spinning faster and faster, bringing balance to that area. Kidneys hold a lot of emotions and they have their own free will. Let's thank our kidneys for doing amazing, wonderful work. And ask them for forgiveness for putting them through punishment that wasn't necessary. But I guess it was for our experience, learning experience. We wouldn't have done it. Tornado spinning faster and faster, bringing balance to the kidneys. drifts away, bring it back. As we go deeper, our focus becomes sharper and clearer. And as we bring balance to ourselves, we bring balance to the rest of the planet, moving in the direction of peace, balance, correct conduct. Let's take the focus up to between the shoulder blades, up the spine there. And tornado spinning faster and faster between the shoulder blades. And we can start feeling the spine elongating, stretching out, and releasing all blockages, all the physical, mental, and emotional blockages are all being brought back to balance with the tornado spinning faster and faster. You may feel a release in certain parts of the spine as the tornado spinning faster and faster. Feel the spine stretching out wonderfully through nothing but field strength. Don't need to hang upside down. Gravitational magnetic forces are there at play, as they are throughout all the universes. As we clear out the obstructions, the fields get stronger and stronger, and all the physicality finds its positioning back to blueprint. Health and balance is restored as the tornado spinning faster and faster. We move the attention up the spine to the bottom of the skull where it meets the spine. And the tornado spinning faster and faster, bringing balance to that whole area. And now we really feel spine being stretched out wonderfully by the field strength. Finding positioning, unlocking all blockages. And bringing balance to the rest of the planet. It's a wonderful feeling. And the spine is in the correct position, elongated, fully hydrated. Only the few who have experienced it will understand. As you continue to focus on the tornado, bottom of the skull, spinning faster and faster, bringing balance to that area. You sense that we are not the physical body. Physical body is just a vehicle that we chose to use temporarily. And our consciousness is without dimension. Tornado spinning faster and faster. Bring it down to that area. Let's move the attention to the top of the head. Center point on top of the head. 1,000-point junction. And tornado spinning faster and faster. Bringing balance to the whole physicality. All the chakras are coming alive, spinning beautifully in balance. The tornado spinning faster and faster. Top of the head. Keeping the tongue in the position we chose. Focusing on the breath. And the tornado spinning faster and faster, bringing balance to that area. You can feel the whole head area and the brain letting go of all the obstructions, all the nonsense. Bring everything back to balance. As the tornado spinning faster and faster, bringing balance to that area. Move the attention to the front of the forehead and the third eye area. Center of the forehead area. Tornado spinning faster and faster. As the third eye opens wider and wider. Showing us the answers in plain sight. Accessing all one creation of all knowledge. Nothing is hidden from us. When we choose peace, balance, correct conduct, all is revealed. As we release obstructions one by one, more and more gets revealed. Tornado spinning faster and faster. Lighting up a whole third eye. Brilliant, beautiful colors. Let's move our attention from the third eye to the throat area. The voice box, thyroid, parathyroids. As the tornado spinning faster and faster. Bringing balance to that area. We must have a voice for peace, balance, and correct conduct. No matter what cost. It's the only way we as humanity can move forward. Tornado spinning faster and faster. Bringing more courage to continue to speak for the earth, the animals, the trees, the insects, the fish, every life form on the planet. Sending out the field strength of peace, balance, correct conduct. Tornado spinning faster and faster. Brilliant, beautiful colors. As we move the focus down to the heart, which has the strongest fields. Tornado spinning faster and faster, bring your balance to that area. Send out the fields of Plath. We feel the heartbeat of the earth returning to balance. We infiltrate all the consciousness of all humans to peace, balance, and correct conduct. And anybody holding guns will just drop them because they won't know what they are. They just see no purpose in anything but peace, balance, and correct conduct. In a world where there are no guns, there are no weapons. They are obsolete in this age of Aquarius knowledge. The tornado spinning faster and faster as we spew out infinite amounts of Plath to the whole planet. And our field strength's getting stronger and stronger. As we move down to the solar plexus, our gut feeling. Our gut feeling tells us to continue doing things on the road to peace, balance, and correct conduct because it feels correct, feels right, feels good, feels in alignment with creation. As the tornado spinning faster and faster, bringing balance to that area. Our field strength's getting stronger and stronger. As the whole planet is being flooded with Plath. There's no time, space. Weapons are obsolete. peace, balance, and correct conduct is the new way, is the new normal. All the leaders of the planet will be forced to move in peace, balance, correct conduct by their soul. Or they shall perish. Mother Earth has a big smile on her face as we send Plaf to the whole planet and all its inhabitants. Tornado spinning faster and faster, bringing balance. Energetically, we restore balance in the physical, mental, emotional body as we focus back on the breath, so cycling it up the spine on the in-breath and down the front of the body on the out-breath. Back to the tailbone, in-breath, go up the spine, out-breath, go down the front of the body. And just repeat that a few times. When you're ready, focus back on the physicality. Start moving the toes, the legs, the buttocks, the torso, the arms, the neck, the head, fingers. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. And here we are. Oh, Ben's joined us.
Hi there. Sorry I was so late. I was sleeping and I woke up to you guys meditating, so I really appreciate that part. To start my day off that way is nice.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for joining, Ben.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me.
It's awesome. It's a challenge in today's world for people to put time aside for meditative. It's very
No
challenging.
doubt.
It's the most difficult thing for us to put time for ourselves, and for the rest of the planet. But
For sure. I'm just working on getting my time up because it's hard to stay in that state for me for as long as you do. And so just the more time I put in, the better it is. And so yeah, it's a great thing to wake up to for sure.
yeah, what were we going for? 30, 40 minutes? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just like it's amazing. Like the time means nothing when you're in that state.
Yeah.
And, if you look at Elatom's teaching, what does he say? Meditation is the foundation. He started meditating before anything else, and he kept that. He kept that consistent. And that's what powers him. That's where if we're gonna choose a lifestyle of less is more, we need to be able to focus on an area where it can bring the physicality energy. Because if we don't eat, we got to get our energy from somewhere. So where's that energy going to come from? Well, we got to choose on what we want to focus on, right? So meditation is a wonderful thing. There's meditation in motion, like yoga. There's doing something you love, like working in the garden, like walking in the forest or whatever. There's many things that we can gain energy from. Doing something you love, helping somebody, people, whatever. You get into these wonderful states, and
instead of draining yourself.
Yeah, the more we're giving, the more we can receive, and the more our emotions will be balanced, and the more and the less we'll think about food, physical food. And this is what it's about. It's we all have challenges. What do we do when we're stressed out? The only thing we first think of is food, man. Eating. All of us, I'm going through challenging times. Steve's going through challenging. Everybody goes through challenging times. With this COVID thing, we're all going through challenging times, and we have to choose our paths. Sometimes it's more challenging to do the correct thing. Probably most of the time, but.
Well, those are the two things. Like,
It's not the easier, softer way, that's for sure.
Go ahead, Ben. What was it?
Oh, sorry, Steve. I didn't mean to talk on top.
No problem.
No, I just said those are the two of the things, especially these days, I'm working on a lot, because I don't know if I mentioned it last week or not, but for me, it's like I get pretty drained on the dry fasts nowadays, and just get like to a point where I want to lay down and just like take it easy. But I keep coming back to what you said, is like get up, move around, create the energy, and then also, yeah, like what you just said now too, makes a lot of sense to just meditate and pull myself, kind of create the energy from inside.
And how's that working for you now?
It's better. It's like, I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, it's like, it helps me keep going. I'm not going to say I don't fall to my weaknesses and like get up and sometimes break the fast, but it's definitely there, and something as a tool to use for sure.
You'll come around. It's going to take what it takes, but just embrace whatever happens, and you will see that you will come out stronger and stronger with everyone. Just continue to do that. Continuously move, continuously meditate, get through it. Use the tools. Use a little bit of tinctures to get you through, or move into the semi-dry, and you will see, because you know the history you shared with us. There's a lot going on there, and it has to be purged physically, mentally, emotionally. It has to be purged, and you're going to go through maybe some healing reactions and stuff. Embrace it all. Don't be scared. Allow it to purge. Just allow it. Embrace it. Surrender, and you'll get stronger. It's just there's no other direction when you do these things than to get stronger. There's no other direction. We've seen it over and over and over and over with people, right? So it's awesome when we see people taking a hold of it. It's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, for sure. I'm getting better at handling healing reactions, because
awesome.
When I first started this process, like that kind of thing was scary. I mean, I think that's part of maturing too. It's like as a kid, especially, I was always scared if any little thing happened to me physically. I'm like, oh my God, blood or something like that,
Right.
But now it just becomes part of the process, as you said. So it's
where do these fears come from? They're programmed in us.
Right.
They're programmed. Blood, some people freaking out, and then you get that, and it's stuck with you. Or whatever.
That's true. You see parents when kids cry, they do one of two things. They either stay calm and the kid stays calm as a reaction to their parents, or they kind of get upset, and then the kid gets upset watching the parents' reaction to their boo-boos or whatever, right? So it's funny, we do learn it.
Yeah, like one thing I trained myself. I'm pretty good at staying calm, even in challenging situations with people's health and so on and so forth. I've seen a lot, and if you lose your control, man, it's not going to help anybody. So with children, the best thing we can do is be totally relaxed. Oh yeah, you got to cut your body heal, no big deal. Brush it off.
Right.
Forget about it. Give it a kiss, mama's kiss. Have you ever had a kiss from your mother with a cut or something? You don't feel the pain anymore. Gone. And what's that? That's the power of the fields, of the love coming from the mother, right? And people don't look at it that way, but that's what it is. It's plain sight. It's the fields. Power fields. The power of the fields of the mother or the father, whatever, preparing a meal for their kids. During that love, a lot of family dinners are gone out the window these days, but that's what used to happen, right? All that energy, preparing the meals for the family, sit down and exchange. that family energy. Families who play together, stay together.
Beautiful thing.
Sorry?
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. So you said you were back in the States, or no, you were stuck
Well, I'm in Korea now. I mean, I was in the States. I was in the States since December, and then because of the corona, I didn't come back to Korea. But I mean, I was living in South Korea for like 12 years, and now I'm back in Korea. I just finished my quarantine right after the last week's Zoom call, and so I've had my freedom now for a week, and been enjoying that, and also kind of enjoying some of the foods that probably shouldn't have been, and then but also enjoying the reactions to those foods, because I'm seeing, like, I mean, I don't know, I mean, this is like something I'm proud of, but I was eating fried vegetables with barley, and it was vegan, but it was like, you know, I cooked the vegetables because I met my girlfriend, and for the first time in a long time, and we just kind of ate and enjoyed it, and then my whole like chest broke out with acne and stuff, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is not that surprising, I suppose. But you know, it's good to be free. You know, it's good to be out of the house, and even though I'm masked up outside, it's nice, right?
Yeah, as long as we stick to the basic principles of living less is more, and we're gonna, you know, fall off here and there, whatever, no big deal. Move on.
Yeah.
It's a learning experience, and
Well, it feels really good getting back on. I can say that, because I mean, it's not just like looking at the site of acne. It's like you know, I just feel worse after eating that. You know, you play with it and you taste it and it tastes good, but then everything kind of comes down a level, like life wise. So it's good to get back on.
Yeah.
The energy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So okay, we'll shut her down, and thank you guys again for joining. It's always a pleasure to get together. It's you know, we've seen a lot of people come and go, and it's really nice to see the few of the few, you know, even the few of the few to stick to it, and you know, make that commitment to themselves. It has nothing to do with us. There's nothing at all with us. This is we face our mirrors. It's very, very challenging in this time of age, and you know, for humanity to you know, face ourselves. Very difficult. It's man, oh man, it's
That's the way it's supposed to be.
I know. I wish it was easy, but it's not. It's simple, but it's not easy. We have to. We must make that commitment and put the energy. We must. So you know, it's wonderful to have you guys around, man. It's awesome. You know, the people that join us, it's a beautiful thing. I know everybody's busy, whatever, but it is what it is. We continue.
Thank you guys for being there and doing this every week. It's great to be able to come in and join you guys.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much.
Have
Many blessings. You too. Have a great night.
Amen.
Bye.